Do you remember when Dragon Ball Z was on Cartoon Network, namely Toonami? This was how I was introduced to it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the OG fans were introduced to Dragon Ball Z through this same avenue as well. Now, if you go and think back and dip into your bag of nostalgia, and you think about how strong and powerful these trailers were for introducing these movies, it was everything, all the way down to the martial arts of like the choreography of how they did the battle between Goku and Garlic Jr.'s minions. Like everything about this, the music, the voice acting, everything was on 10, and they showed it a lot of love. I would love to see this exact same energy transferred over into the game, and I do believe this is something that we would get in Sparking Zero. The Tenkaichi series is the only one that I know personally that gave any kind of proper attention to these movie characters and their minions to give us that little segment of what we're looking for.
You can't win. Let's go!
So of course we're going to start off with the first movie, Dead Zone. For anybody who's seen this battle between Goku and Garlic's minions, you know exactly what I'm talking about as far as the choreography of the martial arts that took place between these four fighters, right? Goku going 3 against 1. He got handled in the beginning, but, you know, of course he pulled it off when he really got serious and just knocked them out. And these were these guys at their best. I would love to have this reenacted in the new Sparking Zero that's coming out. I was kind of hoping Kakarot would have taken it on, but they kind of just left it to the wayside and abandoned it. But hey, I guess that was just wishful thinking. But the fight that truly brought me in to pay attention to Dead Zone, because I didn't catch the movie when it first came out, I caught a little glimpse of it. And it was Piccolo versus Sancho, whatever his name is. And the way that Piccolo handled this guy is one that leaves an impression on you that you never forget. This was the first moment that I began to like Piccolo, because I didn't see any of the Dragon Ball with Piccolo, didn't really have any idea of who he was or anything like that. I just said, hey, this guy's a beast. Now, building upon that, the battle between Goku, Piccolo, and Garlic Jr. was one to remember as well. And like I said before, I would have hoped that Kakarot would have adopted this into their game and made it a DLC or side mission, whatever it is, just to have Goku and Piccolo tag team him. I think the fighting style and that more so focused game would have been better suited for it. But I think in the Sparking Zero all around, as far as having characters substitute in for someone else and replace them for that kind of 2v1 would be fitting as well. But it's one that I'm excited to see. So before I close out and move on to the next movie, I know Garlic Jr. wasn't like a super villain, right? Apart from him having eternal life, he didn't really have a long duration in here where he would have stood a chance against Piccolo, Goku, or even Gohan for that matter, right? They kind of killed him very early, but because he was immortal, he came back to life. And if you really think about it, if the idiot never would have summoned the Dead Zone, he wouldn't have been defeated by anyone, right? Not even Gohan. So next up would be the World's Strongest. And I think the thing about the World's Strongest that really stood out to me was just the choice battles in which they chose to have. Like, each one was executed extremely well. From the first battle with the first bioengineered warrior all the way down to the other two, even when Krillin and Gohan fought against them, to the battle that we got a slight rematch of between Goku and Piccolo, from Goku going up against Dr. Willow. And I think the main reason why I really love this movie, apart from the rest, was because of the execution of Kaioken. I'm a big Kaioken fan, especially in the movies, more so than it is in the actual show, because of just how it's used, right? Like, it's really capitalized on, like it was in the Saiyan saga. It's really brought to light here, and I just love that about it. So the last one I want to talk about is the Tree of Might. Now, I know I'm going to get drugged through the mud for this, more so than the Garlic Jr. saga, but if I had to pick out of the 3 movies which one was my favorite, I would always, hands down, go with the Tree of Might. They had the original Z fighters in there, even though it wasn't like long or drawn out battles, with something even as slight or light as Yamcha versus the Cybermen. I still like the fact that Yamcha went up against one of Turles' henchmen and Tien, and Chaozu went up against theirs. Now, all of them got handled. I think Krillin probably put up the best fight against one of his opponents. But nonetheless, man, it was just the truth, right? This is where it was for me. Like, even the introduction of Turles was funny. This guy steps out of the darkness in this snuggy blanket. Like, you in outer space, my guy. Turn the heat on. This was another one that I really enjoyed because this was like the pinnacle, right? The main focus of Kaioken, where that was kind of only transformation or real strong power-up that was in the game. So I think that they did really good on just kind of executing that, especially when Goku was overpowered. We all know how the story goes. But the thing I hope they capture and focus on the most in here with these movies adding to Sparking Zero would be the Z Fighters versus the Henchmen, right? Give us a little bit more of the Yamcha and Tien play, or Piccolo versus Turles play. We know Goku comes in to do his thing. That's what he does. He comes in and he saves the day. That isn't anything new. Let's focus a little bit more so on, you know, a little less Goku. That's more so what I'm hoping. Like, these are still, like, you know, memorable characters that are well beloved before more powerful ones like Vegeta or Piccolo became a more dominant character, stepped on a scene that kind of replaced these guys. We still have a heart for, like, Krillin. Like, he's a human, but he still bangs with the best of them. Now listen, just go with me on this journey for a second. Let's take this battle in which we have right here, which is Goku versus Turles, and we have the Tree of Might land, which is around us. We put all of that with Sparking Zero graphics, and you can't tell me that this isn't enjoyable. I don't care if you think it's a less tier movie, if you're not interested in the movie, just all of this being more updated and made current in 4K, you can't tell me that this wouldn't be enjoyable with the combat system and fighting style that they have, of its own uniqueness in Sparking Zero. You can't tell me that that wouldn't be enjoyable. Take Dead Zone and the same thing with The World's Strongest, and you put all of that in up-to-date current graphics and fighting styles and the whole Tenkaichi layout, and you tell me that that's not something that you would enjoy, not just from movies 1, 2, and 3, but for all 12 of them. So all I'm really saying is, can the movies get some love? We focused on the sagas from time and time again, but when it came down to the movies, we've normally always got the short end of the stick. So how about we get some kind of building up in the movies where it's more like a short saga kind of thing? I think that'd be dope. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree in the comments down below. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And with that being said, I'm out.